As this year is going to come to a close and we're about to hop into 2026, I sit here and I reflect about my life. And it makes me think about this moment. I was in such a dark place, just all around bad, man. It was so bad. My life was in the dumps. I had just broken up with my girl. I was with her for several years. We had this big blow up. Nasty, man. Like the love was just gone. We were arguing all the time. My friends had just backstabbed me, they betrayed me. I had lost my business. I had $5,000 to my name. I didn't have a place to sleep. So I ended up renting this room. It was actually a garage that was converted into this room. It was a very small place. There was no kitchen. The bathroom was part of the main home. And I had no direction in life. I had no idea what I was going to do for money. I had no one to turn to. Like my back was against the wall and like I was pinned against this corner and I had only myself to get out of it. And maybe I could have reached out to a couple people, but at the time I was so turned inwards in my mind and in myself that I had to figure this out alone. Luckily for me, I had a phone call maybe a couple weeks before, maybe a month, two, where I spoke to an old friend who I haven't spoken to for years. And he randomly hits me up. And the conversation wasn't the deepest and it wasn't that long. Um, but we had a good conversation. I catch up with this dude and I'm like, bro, what do you do? What are you doing right now? What are you doing in life, man? This is before everything blew up, before everything went down south. And he was telling me he was a truck driver. I was like, oh, truck driver? Okay, cool. That's what's up. So when I was in this position where I was renting out this room, that phone call crossed my mind. And I hit him up. I'm like, hey, bro, like I need some help, man. Like, man, I need a job. Like one of the first things I learned, I remember watching this video from Patrick Bet David. I remember he said like if you ever are in need of like help or like you need a job or something, reach out to your network. Like your network is your net worth. And that's the first thing that popped to my head. So I called this homeboy. I'm like, hey homie, like what are you doing for work? What are you doing for money? Like you still doing trucking? And he was like, yeah, I still do trucking, bro. And I was like, man, I need to get out of here, man. Like, I'm in the dumps right now. So he goes, bro, like, you ever thought about trucking? I was like, nah, man, like, trucking? He's like, yeah, truck driving. And I was like, huh, tell me more. So he's like, yeah, you learn, you get your license, right? Your CDL, your Class A license. You drive down to the ports of Long Beach. You pick up the container, you deliver it somewhere close by. And every week you get paid. And he was telling me how much money he was making. He got paid every single week. He had like cash in his pocket. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, tell me more, bro. So he tells me all about it. I'm like, dude, I don't care. I'm desperate. Let's just go. So the first thing we start doing is looking for schools. So I start doing a little bit of research. I find this school in Commerce. It's called Dolphin Trucking School. And I go there and I sign up immediately. Boom. Hey, you guys have any more openings? Take me. Cool. So I dump, I think it was 2,200 or something like that at the time. So I'm like, dang, okay, $500 down the drain for a rent. Boom, $2,200. So now I'm at $2,700. I only have like 2,300 left. I gotta buy some groceries, right? I still gotta pay for a gym membership. I still gotta get some gas. So everything is riding on this trucking job. So I go to school. First thing they have you do is like the permit test, right? You do like a couple days of passing the permit to take the driving test. And on average, a student will typically get the license within 8 weeks. So I go to school. I'm driving every day. It's like 30 minutes just to get to Commerce. Traffic early in the morning. Classes from 8 to 12. And then they have a second class from like 1 to 5 or something. So I go to class. I'm trying to get my permit studying. I'm studying the book, the CDL book, after class. And all they really teach you is to parallel park. That's all they really teach you. Parallel park, how to alley dock, how to dock, or how to like alley dock your truck like back into the dock. But there's no container. There's only just the truck. So you get familiar with that. And once you get familiar with that, then they put you in a truck with the container. But the container is only like 30 feet. It's not like your 40, your 45s, your 52s or whatever. That's the normal size, like 45s, your 40s. So I'm getting in this truck and this stick shift, and I'm learning how to like use this truck, still grinding gears because I'm not familiar with like backing up and turning and doing all this stuff. So I eventually passed my permit after 2 weeks, right? And I'm feeling finally a little bit of confidence in my life, finally feeling like, yeah, things are moving forward. And I'm locked in at this point though. I'm waking up every day early as hell, getting to school exactly at 8, parking. And one day I reach out to one of the instructors, the driving instructors, and I'm like, hey man, like, how do you feel about me coming back the second class and continue to learn how to like, park? And he was like, hey, normally we don't do this, but if you feel like, you want to go ahead and do it, you know what I mean? Just you can come back when the second class starts, but you got to make sure all the other students get their turn behind the wheel and you're kind of like a floater. I'm like, yeah, bet, let's go. So I'm like starting from week 3, after 12 o'clock, I will go to the closest gym, LA Fitness. I'll go work out. I'll come back and I'll have a lunch prepared. I'll eat my lunch in the car and then go to the second class. And I'll stay there every day till 5. So from 8 to 5, it was like a job. And after 5, go back to the freaking garage, pack my lunch again, eat dinner, shower, sleep, read a little bit, and then go back to sleep. And that was my program. And after 6 weeks, I get my license. I pass. I go down to like the nearest like commercial trucking DMV. And that day when I passed my CDL, my Class A license, I started breaking down. I just started crying, man. Like, and I remember the instructor was just sitting there. And he's like, pat me on the shoulder. He goes, man, hey, congrats, bro. Hey, you did it, man. You did it, bro. You did it. He was giving me all this encouragement. And I felt so elated because I haven't had a win in so long. And I still remember that moment. I can still remember as if I was looking at myself from a third perspective, like someone else was looking at me. I can still remember that day. And I'm freaking tears are coming down my eyes. He goes, it's gonna be all right, bro. Like life is gonna be okay, man. But he had no idea all the things that I just went through. And after I get my license, I call my homeboy up. He goes, bro, don't even trip, man. The company I work for, they'll hire you. It's not a W-2 company, it's a 1099. So I start work. Monday comes around, I start work. And I hate it. Day 1, I freaking hate it. Hate it so much, man. The hours are long. We're doing logbooks, but we're like cheating the freaking logbooks because we're not using the EDL system. We're using the paper EDLs, right? Paper logs. And of course, if we fake it, but the hours are like 18, 20, 22, sometimes a whole freaking day. I'll wake up at 4 and I won't get home till 4. Sleep for a few hours, get back to the yard, hop in the truck until 10. And I'm burnt out, man. The first week's over, 5 days. I get my check. It's $1,500. And I'm like, holy smokes, I just made $1,500. But keep in mind, taxes aren't taken out yet. There's no Social Security, none of that stuff. But I'm $1,500 up. And I'm like, all right, cool. And I remember like we went to go eat tacos afterwards at King Taco. And my boy's like, hey, you want to go out? And I'm like, Bro, I'm so exhausted. I just want to sleep, man. I don't want to do anything. I literally put in like 70 hours within like 5 days. I'm beat. So Saturday comes around. I just want time to myself at this point. I've been grinding. I haven't had time to work out, none of that stuff. And, I'm addicted to working out. I'm one of those like gym heads. So finally, me and my boy, we decide to, move in together to get closer to where the company's at. We're about 10 minutes away now from the company, as opposed to me driving 45 minutes just to get to the yard. And life's finally like working out in its favor. But in order for me to get to that position, I literally had to lock in. Like those 6 weeks felt like a blur. It felt like everything was on repetition, like it was mundane. But I felt excited. I finally felt like I had direction. I finally felt like things were gonna be okay after feeling so down and just losing everything. My girl, my friends, my business, my livelihood, my identity, myself. I had nothing. And I remember one of those days, like when I was feeling like down, and it was like a weekend during school when I was still going to school. I um I remember the owners of the home, they have a son, and he knows that I like UFC. I like watching UFC. So I don't have any like laptops. I don't have any TVs. I don't have anything. Only thing I took from the home was my clothes. That's it. I sold everything else. Sofa, my TVs, because I didn't have anywhere else to put it. So that's all I took with me was my clothes. No cooking utensils, no nothing. So I remember one weekend, it was like a Sunday, and I was watching UFC. You know, I'm just in the room by myself, and the son comes in, and I'm like laying in the bed. He goes, "Oh, you watching the UFC fight?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm watching." He goes, "Dude, did you see that knockout?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." And he could kind of tell. I was kind of like, "Bro, I just want to just vibe out and just want to just chill by myself." So he ended up just leaving. Looking back at it now, like I needed to lock in. I needed to stay cold and distant in order for me to have that discipline. But at the same time, now that I look back at it, I'm like, dang, man, I should have been more open. I should have been more social, because what's the point of having anything in life if you have no one to share it with? But looking back at it now, if I wasn't cold and I wasn't, I don't know, pushing everyone away in some sense, who knows if I would have actually made it. But that was me during that time of darkness. Yeah, man, that time was horrible. And I remember like the last phone call I had with my ex when we broke up. And I remember she had mentioned like, "Oh, I'm not in love with you anymore." This is right before we broke up. And I was like, "Then why are you with me?" And there's a pause. She goes, "I don't know." I just hung up on her. I literally hung up on her. But leading up to that phone call, I remember I was calling her like crazy. We were arguing, I was cussing her out. Said a lot of mean things to her, man. A lot of mean things to her that she didn't deserve. And I remember I ended up like fast forward to several months later. Life is okay now. I'm doing trucking still, and I get a phone call from my homegirl Linda. It's Twan's birthday, which is her man. I'm friends with Twan too, and they're like, "Hey, come out for his birthday. We're gonna eat dinner in like downtown, and then we got like this dope apartment that we rented out. It has a balcony. It's like on the 50th floor or whatever." I'm like, "Cool." So we go out to eat dinner, and there's like an outdoor like patio area, and we're deep. There's like 15, 20 of us, and we're all dressed nice, and it's dark, right? Candles are lit, And there's like that waiter, like that kind of like that pillar, not pillar, but it's like the waiting desk where you walk in and there's someone like, oh, do you have reservations? I forgot what they call it. And the corner of my eye, I see three girls, three Asian chicks. And I look over, I'm like, oh snap, it's my ex. And we still haven't, like, I still, like, it felt fresh still, like the wound was still open. So I walk over there, I'm like, hey, what's up? And I was like, hey, can I talk to you? And she had like this awkward look, like, I guess. But she's a really nice person. So she goes, okay, yeah, we can talk. What's up? So her friends go in. I'm like, oh, what are you doing here? She goes, oh, I'm having dinner for my friend's birthday. And I know her friends too, but they're her friends, right? They're not really my friends. I just know them through her. She goes, oh, I'm having dinner for, XYZ. It's her birthday. She's like, did you follow me here? I'm like, what? What? Is that what you think of me? I mean, I could get why she thought of that because I was just blowing up her phone before we like last spoke, calling her, texting her, like just going crazy. I was in a very dark place, and I'm like, like, why would I follow you here? What the hell? I'm like, I'm right there, like, I'm with my peoples, like 15, 20 people right here. I got here way before you. You better knock it off. And I was like, what? You know what? Forget it. I feel so silly come over here and then you to think of that. Forget it. Peace. I don't need this. But that's what I thought of today. I thought back in my life and how silly of her to even think that of me, but I get it. Man, life has been one crazy roller coaster.